Hi, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome. So this video I should have recorded and posted a week ago. Oh my god. So it's been a while since I posted a video, since I recorded a video for you guys. Also, I know I haven't been posting or updating my Degrassi videos. I have them all recorded. It's just the process of editing them, because to edit them, I have to edit them and then I can't do anything else. So that's what it is. Because when I edit them, I have to sit there and watch them edit. I can't like go and do other things. Anyway, so this is my recap for last week's episode of Riverdale. The new episode comes out tonight, and after I record this video, I will record my reaction to tonight's episode promo, which I don't actually think I've watched. I don't think I've watched it, but anyway, that's what we're gonna do. So, of course, first, let's read the synopsis for the season. I'm not gonna show you it. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it and read it to you guys. Just because that saves me editing time. So, the episode is... Oh my god. Sorry, my screen is a little slow. This is Chapter 89, Reservoir Dogs. It's the 13th episode in the 5th season. The season is getting 19 episodes, so 6 more episodes in the season. After tonight, there'll be 5 episodes left in the season. So we won't make it to episode 100 this season, but I believe episode 3 of next season is going to be episode 100. If I'm probably mistaken. I'm just guessing right here. But we're very close to 100 episodes. But the sad thing is that because of this episode, Jughead will not reach episode 100 in the 100th episode, which is super sad. Because Cole Sprouse was not in this episode, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't even think he narrated it. So I don't know why he wasn't in the episode. One of the facts of the episode was that this was the first episode that he does not appear in, or his portrayer, because of course he wasn't in the last episode, but he appeared in flashbacks as F.P. Jones. At least Cole Sprouse did. So I don't know if they're setting up for Cole Sprouse leaving the show, because a lot of people think that he's going to leave the show. I don't personally think he's going to leave the show, because he is a fan favorite. And plus, the creator, or I don't know who's said this, but supposedly him and Betty are supposed to get back together, because we all know that he turned Tabitha down, and then she turned him down, so I don't think he's going to end up with Tabitha. People think that they have great chemistry, but I don't believe that they're going to end up together. And then I also don't think he's going to get back with Jennifer. Jennifer is a hot mess. I think he's destined for Betty. So anyway, the synopsis reads, Coyote Ugly. While helping Eric deal with his PTSD, Archie is forced to confront his own past trauma in the army. To find the lonely highway killer, Betty and Tabitha come up with a way to lure triggers to Pops. Cheryl extends an invitation to Kevin, and Veronica gives Reggie a shop to prove her wrong. So, like always, I have everything written down. At the beginning of the episode, I was like, oh, do I really want to write everything down? Because that's a lot. So, I don't know if I wrote everything down. Oh my god. I don't know if I'm going to continue to do these. I'm going to try to finish the season, because I've started with the season. This was the first season that I started doing these recap and reviews. And I actually only started with the graduation episode, because that was so sad and powerful and one of my favorite episodes. But So, you know, the fact that it's called Reservoir Dogs is actually not even like the main part of the episode. But, so we begin with Archie having a dream or a nightmare. People always call it dreams, even though in reality it's a nightmare. But he's dreaming of the army. And he wakes up to gunshots. And it turns out Eric is kind of like in a trance. Think of Owen from Grey's Anatomy, if you guys have seen that show, when Owen is strangling Christina. Because he was watching the ceiling fan, and it reminded him of a helicopter from the army. And it put him into a trance where he started to choke Christina. But he didn't realize what he was doing. So Eric doesn't realize what he's doing. He points the gun at Archie after he pushes Archie, injures him, just a bloody nose. But then Fred comes up from behind, and not Fred, oh my god, Frank, sorry, F names. Frank comes up from behind and kind of, not chokes him, but kind of like holds him really tight, because something that is like scientific is that if you like hold someone really tight, it soothes them. So like someone with like autism, if you hold them really tight, it will calm them down from having a spastic moment. I learned that from Grey's Anatomy. Anyway, so Frank just kind of holds him really tight. And I love Frank. Frank is one of my favorite guest characters. I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to add him to the main cast, especially now that he's out of jail. So then we have Betty and Tabitha, and they are hunting the highway killer. And she comes, finds a guy. Tabitha tells her not to go near him, but Betty doesn't listen. She has one thing in mind, even though Polly was a horrible sister. And I mean, I know she's her sister, but still, I don't like Polly. Beginning, Polly was okay, you know, when she was pregnant. But then, you know, when she joined the cult, everything went downhill. And even when she was just pregnant, Betty has always been a lot more mature than Polly. And I don't know if that's because they were hopping her up on things when she was in the Sisters of Quiet Mercy or what, but that's that. Also, it is currently pouring down rain here from Ida, but it's okay. Posted a TikTok earlier. Lost power. Power came back. If you guys can't tell. Didn't post an update, but I probably will. Can't stop yawning. Also, my mom woke me up abruptly this morning. So, I was tired and I stayed awake for a little bit. Watched some Criminal Minds, played some Harry Potter on my Switch. And then I was like really tired all of a sudden, so I fell asleep for about an hour. So yeah. But yeah, so Betty is following this guy, and she's kind of soliciting him, well, you know, to coerce him into trying to kill her. And he says that she's getting arrested because he's an FBI agent. And then she says, I'm an FBI agent, and all of a sudden Glenn comes out. I think he's the trash bag killer. He might not be the lonely highway killer. I do think they're the same person, but he might not be that. He's definitely the trash bag killer. Definitely. There's something going on with him. They wouldn't just add him just to be a jackass. So yeah. So Glenn's like, you're not an FBI agent. You quit. I don't remember her quitting, but all these episodes just kind of mushed together at one point. And he's like, you have to hand over your badge and gun, so she does. So then we have a little bit of the, cult. Yeah, I thought we were done with that. Didn't Cheryl learn her lesson? I don't honestly think it's a cult. It's nowhere near as bad. But I'm just gonna call it a cult because it's funny. Anyway, Betty suggests that they get the truckers to show up by doing a little bit of a Coyote Ugly. Now, I've never seen the movie, so I don't really get the reference, but anyway, Frank brought a dog home to be a part of the family. And this was the sad part, the saddest part of the whole episode. And the part that I have been like, they have to tell me what happened. So Frank asks about Vegas. So Archie says that his mom took Vegas with her to Chicago. And then he died while Archie was overseas. And then Archie says that he was his best friend. And that was the saddest part of the whole episode. And now I'm crying, thinking about it. The fact that Archie didn't get to say goodbye. I'm a hot mess. That's just what I'm learning. Anyway, so yeah, Vegas is dead. I suspected it because Archie got him when he was a little kid. He had to be older when Archie went away, yeah. So they're gonna hold the Coyote Ugly at the White Worm. Archie also tells a story about Bingo. He tells a story saying that Bingo was a dog that they adopted while he was in the army, and he died. So Kevin also realizes that he wants Fangs back after talking to Cheryl, because Kevin went to her cult and realizes he wants Fangs back. So he goes to their old apartment and he's about to confess everything when it turns out that someone is there with Fangs. And you're not going to believe who was there. Moose! I had to pause the episode. I was like, what? Moose. I could not believe it. And he like has long hair, and like Fangs also has long hair, because apparently long hair just is what guys get when they are trying to show a passage of time. They don't mention what Moose has been doing, but I have a feeling he's going to show up in more episodes, because we'll get to that in a second. But the last time we saw Moose, he was at Stonewall Prep. We also never found out about Mr. Honey in Stonewall Prep, because the way that they kind of did that made it seem like they were going to go into that. But anyway. So, but then he left when everyone found out what his dad did, and he joined the army. And we did see him after he left Stonewall Prep when he was in the army. Now, they don't mention what he's been doing, like where he was in the army, if he ever saw Archie while in the army. I can't remember if Archie ever mentioned Moose, but anyway, that was shocking and so random. And I'll also get into my thoughts on that in a second. So Reggie asked Veronica if he can work for her, which he used to at Le Bon Nuit, which I'm so sad that Le Bon Nuit is no more. Very sad about that. Veronica's like, I don't know. Reggie's like, you gotta let me, so he agrees, and then he tells her that he can get her more investors, because her dad's Sodale project is not actually going to ever become a thing, and that he's lying to these investors because he is funding his palladium search. So yeah. It turns out that there is a dog fighting ring in Riverdale, and when Archie finds out, he goes and beats up the guy. So there's that. They save the dogs. Um, so after they do the Coyote Ugly, none of the truckers seem like they are the guy. But then a guy shows up late. And Betty notices blood. So being Betty, instead of calling the police, she gets in the truck. Texts Tabitha. And they drive off. And then they stop in the middle of the woods. He gets out of the car. And then comes to her side and she opens the door and hits him. And then he gets a chainsaw. Okay. And anyway, Betty wins. After fighting for her life, Tabitha shows up. But instead of handing him over to the police, she decides that they're going to hide him and find out what happened to her sister. Which I think is going to do more harm than good. So then we're back to Kevin, and Kevin's all sad, and Cheryl's like, why? And Kevin says he won Teacher of the Year, and Cheryl's like, that's amazing. Kevin's like, but that's not what I wanted in my life. He wanted to be in New York, working on musicals, not working at a dead-end school. So we also find out that Bingo was actually a person that Archie couldn't save, because if he had tried to save Bingo, they all would have died. So they decided to name the dog that they rescued Bingo, and they also set up a rescue inside of the El Royale for people to adopt the dogs that they saved from the ring. So Kevin becomes the artistic director of the cult and sings a Jesus song with Cheryl. What? This whole episode makes no sense. That cult, I can't believe they're doing a cult again. Like, Cheryl's mother, she was a killer. She killed people. She was a serial killer. She poisoned a lot of people, and yeah. And then Fangs tells Kevin that him and Moose are dating, but he still wants to be friends with Kevin, and Kevin's like, we are friends. Now, I really don't understand why they're doing this, because they're supposed to be raising a baby. They basically just broke up all of the couples up from high school, and I know you don't usually stay with your high school sweetheart, but in TV shows you do. Most TV shows that I watch, they stay with their high school sweetheart. So I do think they're gonna get back together. They're not gonna end up together. I've classified this as a very Klain situation. If you don't know what that means, Klain was a couple on Glee. It was Kurt and Blaine, so a same-sex gay couple. Kurt and Blaine dated all through most of high school. They started dating Kurt's junior year, and Blaine was a sophomore. And they dated all the way up until Blaine was a senior, so about 3 years, and then broke up. And then they got back together, and they got engaged, all within Blaine's senior year. They broke up, got back together, and got engaged, all within Blaine's senior year of high school. And then the show ended up jumping. Well, then we go and follow them into college. Kurt's a sophomore, Blaine's a freshman in college, and everything's going well. They're still engaged, and then the show ends up jumping forward a year, and Kurt and Blaine have broken up. And Blaine ends up dating this guy named Karofsky, Dave Karofsky. Well, Dave used to have a crush on Kurt and actually was his Valentine one year, meaning that he sent Kurt Valentine's Day items one year because he wanted to date Kurt. But Kurt said no. Just because I'm the first guy you ever had feelings for doesn't mean that I'm the one for you. So they never really dated, but Dave did have a crush on Kurt. But Blaine ends up dating Karofsky. And then, of course, Dave and Kurt and Blaine kiss in an elevator, which sparks romance between them. They kiss because of Sue Sylvester. That's a different story, though. And they decide that they want to be together. So Blaine decides to tell Karofsky, and Karofsky's not mad because he knows that their relationship was on a limited time when Kurt came back into the picture. So Clayton got back together, and Karofsky ended up leaving. So I definitely think that the Moose Kevin Fang situation is definitely very similar to the Dave Kurt Blaine situation, where I think Kevin and Fangs are going to get back together and Moose is going to be okay with it. But also, Tony's pregnant, so I don't know how that, because they're supposed to be the fathers of her baby, except you can only have one father, so I don't, well, let me rephrase that. You can only have one biological father, so I don't know who the biological father is of the child. Like, did she actually have one of their sperm implanted into her? Did she have sex with one? I don't think she had sex with one of them. They're gay. Did she find a sperm donor? Like, what is the deal? Confused. Also, Tony has been out of a lot of episodes this season. And there's only 6 left in the season. But in the promo for the second half of the season, we see that she has her baby, so. And she had a boy in real life, but I really hope she has a girl. Anyway, at the end of the episode, Archie awakens from a nightmare, from a phone to a phone call from the VA, because Eric needs help for his PTSD, and he sees Bingo's ghost, and decides that he also needs help. So, that is everything that happened in the episode. I mean, it was an okay episode. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't bad. I hate the cult, but I'm on the edge of my seat for the killer. Like, I want to know who the killer is. And, like, they kind of also, like, just forgotten about the trash bag killer. Because, you know what's weird is that Betty was attacked by a chainsaw in this episode, and whenever she has nightmares of the trash bag killer, it's a chainsaw. So maybe the Lonely Highway Killer and the trash bag killer are the same people? Because they're both using chainsaws, and how many serial killers do you know that attack people with chainsaws? I mean, how many serial killers do you know, period, but of ones that you've heard of, I've never heard of them attacking with chainsaws, so that seems very, weird. But, I mean, it is Riverdale, so anything can happen. So, yeah. I think the last couple seasons have been the best. The worst season, I think, was season 2. I mean, not 2, 3. 3 was the worst season that the show's ever done. And not because the acting was bad or it was just bad, but because of the storyline. Season 1 was amazing. It had the storyline of who killed Jason and, like, the quest to find that. It was a mystery. Season 2 was a serial killer. Who was killing? It was a little weird, but of why they were killing and who the killer ended up being. But the overall plot was okay. Season 3 was about the Gargoyle King and people playing this game and becoming obsessively possessed because of it. I do like the part that it was connected to the parents as kids. I do like that part, but other than that, it was weird. Season 4 was probably the best season since season 1 because it was a storyline that was very slow paced. And why can't I? Oh, the videotapes, and who killed Jughead, and the other seasons, or a majority of every single episode was was about the storyline, but season 4, not every episode took place around the videotapes or around Jughead's killer. And every couple of episodes, you got a clip into the future with Jughead being killed, and only ever a couple episodes you got the videotapes. And then season 5, of course, we have the killers, but other than that, there's not really a mystery to the show other than trying to rebuild the town. So, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload a video. And I will see you all next time. Bye.